Lzzy, thanks for joining me this afternoon. We are looking forward to seeing Hailstorm for part of our HOG Havoc in 2.5
Yes,
weeks
it's
at
so it's
Fiserv
so
Forum.
close.
Now, that hasn't been a place you've performed yet.
No, actually, I feel like I was just talking about that, which is awesome. It's a very rare thing, actually.
Right. And now I know that Joe's from the area, but I don't know if he follows the Milwaukee Bucks at all.
I don't know if he does. He's from Hartford, Wisconsin. His parents are huge Packer fans and all that, but I don't think he's a we as a band tend to get a little lost with following football. Sorry, following sports in any capacity. So we love
Right.
we love going to games. We just never know who's winning or what's going on.
Yeah, I only ask because the Fiserv Forum is the home of the Milwaukee Bucks. So when you
Nice.
arrive, you'll see stuff with the Milwaukee Bucks all over the place.
I can't wait. Well, we'll be fans that day. I'll tell you what.
It sounds good. Now, you guys have been road dogs since Back from the Dead came out.
Yeah, it's been kind of intense. I feel like there's this just kind of subconscious feeling, especially like post COVID and when everybody started kind of moving back into some semblance of normalcy, which I don't think we'll ever really get back there. But I feel like we've all been trying to like make up for lost time. There's been this like um there's been this headspace we've been in where it's like, okay, more, always, let's go. What's next? Here we are. And so we've been doing a lot of things all at once. We're writing for another record, for another album. We're almost finished with that, but we've been constantly touring throughout that. So it's just kind of finding space, to like exist within this crazy world we live in. But we're getting it together. I feel like it's harder to sit still,
Right.
at this point.
We sat still for too long, and now we got to make up for lost time.
Pretty much, pretty much.
Now, you mentioned you're working on new music. You're like taking little segments in between tours to get things
Mhm.
recorded.
Yeah, we've been kind of multitasking, and it's been really beautiful. There's been we're recording in Savannah, Georgia, with Dave Cobb, producer, and it's been so ADHD magical. It's been amazing, actually. We went in our first week with Dave Cobb, and I bring all of my bag of stuff. It's like I just have all the songs that I've written, and like half verses. Here's some riffs for days, all this stuff, and you put everything down on the table, and Dave Cobb, he says, "Oh no, we're not going to do any of that." Like, what? Wait, what do you mean? He's like, "Oh, we don't know. We don't have a preconceived plan here. Let's just see what happens." So for the first week that we were with um Dave, we spent 3 weeks our first session, but the first week was so like maddening. It was just like, okay, anything goes. We start at 11 a.m. We don't really stop until we're exhausted, but everything is all hands on deck, and we're writing a lot just in the studio. And the beautiful thing about that is that he has everything kind of rigged up so that as we're writing, we're recording it for real. So basically he doesn't like demos. He's like, there's no demos here. So it's been crazy to put things together, because it's different than every other time we've ever gone in the studio. We at least have a collection of finished ideas that we're like, okay, we know these are special. Let's go in, and at least this is what we're going to work on, and we'll expand from there, which we've gotten quite used to. So it's been fun to just be like, oh no, how are you feeling right now? Let's not dig up old stuff that you were feeling 6 months ago. What are you feeling right now? So it's been kind of really wonderful to kind of connect with our inner child in that way, and like our collective inner children. We're also in a house unsupervised. It's just us and the producer and the engineer, and Dave will come in every and spend a couple hours with us, but then he'll go home. So we're just in a house in Savannah, Georgia, where there's no scene, there's no distractions, there's no wives, girlfriends, anything going on. And I don't know, we felt like we're all like 19 years old again. We're like, wow, when is the last time that we've just been, and all the equipment we could ever need and all the time we could ever need, and anything goes, and it's just the four of us. And so I'm hearing through the music just so many of our early influences, so many of the things that are inherently us that maybe don't even really get a chance to shine on a lot of these records, just kind of churning them out the way that we do. So it's been really nice to just kind of take our time and do it in a way, really let it take us to the point of, until we feel like it's done. So it's been refreshing.
Well, and particularly with all the albums that you've recorded and you've been out on the road a lot in support of them, it's nice to have some refreshing change. Otherwise, you could be releasing an album, going out on the road,
Yep.
recording a new album, going out on the road. But this is allowing you a little bit more flexibility with what you want as your final product.
Yeah. And well, and I think it's a little self-serving in that way as well, because we do, there's a fine line, but in the entertainment business, because in one way you are kind of a service. You're making your living, you're in the business of smiles. You want to do something that people will enjoy. Our fans are an extension of they're a big family to us. There have been people that have been coming to see us for years, and we get to then meet their kids. And there's this, when we go and play a show, there's these like three generations of people that have been coming out to see our shows. And so there is, on one hand, you want to do something that people are going to get excited about, or you want to create that kind of service. But what you also realize in the process, and there is this big why of why we do this. And I know personally for me, I write music as a way to deal with the things that are in my head. And so in a way, and I know people talk about it all the time, like songwriting is therapy. It really is. And to the point that my therapist has to remind me a lot about that. Like, oh, so how have you been writing? And it's like, well, I've been procrastinating for like the past 2 weeks. That you have to go and sit down, just write something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be for the career. Just do it so that you can feel better, And so in a lot of ways, if we're not doing the thing that we love to do most, if it feels like a job to us, if it feels like you don't like it, or if it feels like it's too rushed, or you feel intimidated by it, it's not going to end up serving anybody. So it's almost like that kind of age old, you can't spill your cup for someone until you fill it for yourself. And so in a way, for the fans, we almost have a responsibility to be selfish and to make this record what we really want it to be, and what we know will be fun for us to play on stage, and what we know is exciting or weird, to us, because that's going to keep us going, and it's going to keep us in the game, and it's going to keep us excited. Therefore, everybody else inherently will be excited as well, because we started that ball rolling. I can't tell you how many bands I've met over the course of my career that you can just tell they're calling it in, or they hate what they do, or I don't really like this song, but I have to play it. Or we do a lot of work for what we do as a band, which is inherently a marriage, and I'm married to three guys, and one of them is my brother. It's very weird around here, but we have to do those things for ourselves to keep the magic happening, in order to touch the magic. That's the biggest reason why we still don't play to a click track, and we don't play to tracks. There's no miming, there's no calling it in. Every night we hold hands, and we all jump off the cliff with each other and hope we packed our parachutes right. And it's that magic and connection and trust, in each other, that keeps us moving. And so this, in the studio, it's no different. It's like you have to have that, or else the whole thing falls apart. And I would my ultimate goal is to never get to the point where I'm calling it in on stage, and never get to the point where I like look left or right on stage to my guys and be like, ugh, you again. I don't want to I don't want that to happen to us. So it's like, we have to do what we got to do. And fortunately, everybody who has been listening to us for many years and is still on our train is along for the ride. So you're welcome.
Well, I can say thank you very much because my daughter and I have been fans for the last dozen years, and I've been taking her to shows all this time. And she'll, of course, be with me when we're at Fiserv Forum on September 27th. But
That's
she's
awesome.
an adult now, you
Well,
know,
that happens.
they do kind of grow. So you mentioned the band as a family, and I noticed on TikTok one of the things like after your performances, you were checking with everybody. How did you feel about the show? So I like that you have some open dialogue like families would normally have,
Of course.
but how do you deal with having one bathroom with three other guys?
It's a, you know, my guys are pretty awesome. There's nobody, everybody keeps up with their personal hygiene, the whole thing. The best for me is not even so much with just the guys in my band, but the best for me is when we're at a festival and there's the little backstage compound backstage, and there's a men's room and a women's room, and we've made a lot of progress as women. There's many more girls that are on the rock stages these days. I'm so proud of everybody. We've been winning a lot of battles with that, but there still are the occasion that I am the only girl back there, and I get a couple stalls all to myself. So
Yeah, it's always nice.
the
I when I go to
unexpected
metal
benefit.
I'll go to metal shows, and there still aren't a lot of women at metal shows, so I have no problem.
No problem. There's no line. It's fine. I was making fun of that a little bit because we went to Australia and did Knot Fest. So it's 3 shows for Knot Fest, and I was the only girl on the bill. And so there's this beautiful bathroom backstage in this compound, and for women only, and I'm literally the only girl on stage or backstage, and so I got the entire place to myself. And it was this beautiful, like, long, there's like 12 stalls, and there's like sinks and a shower, and it's immaculate because no one's been in there at all. And so I ended up having one of my friends film it for me. I'm like, look, I'm turning on all the water. Look at how I waste it. No, so a little unexpected, funny moments with that. But it's weird. For the most part, I've been doing this surrounded by a bunch of guys for so long that I forget sometimes, until I say a really bad joke, and then I realize it's coming out of my mouth, and I'm not a dude. But it's interesting because, like, I'll have these moments where I'll be hanging out with all the guys. Same thing in the studio. The studio it's all boys, and I'll have these moments like, oh yeah, I'm the only girl here. I guess I would be the only one that knows what that's like. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes you have to filter yourself.
Sometimes you have to filter yourself, but that's okay.
What can we expect when you come to Milwaukee
Oh
for
my
your
God.
show?
Well, the Milwaukee, please. We have a rich history in Milwaukee and have been coming to play there since I think 2005, and from the moment that we came into that area, it was like we had found a second home. Everyone's so nice, and I've had like barbecues with people, and I don't know, it's this definite family vibe that we get from Milwaukee and everybody, really Wisconsin in general, and obviously, Joe has some family that's coming out, so we're gonna be we're gonna be babysitting some family, which will be great. And I don't know, just the people. I think that there is an inherent need for rock music, for the type of brand, for the I guess the sanctuary that we can provide for the day. What I loved so much about coming into Milwaukee specifically is that it's not just it's not just, okay, it's a Friday night and I got nothing better to do, so I might as well go to the show. It's like there are people that have been saving up for months and have been waiting for this, and just have a primal need to be there, and feeling that from people because every night is different. When you're on tour, you're in a different place, different town. So every town has its own kind of vibe for that. It's either like, oh, this is the thing to do, so everyone just kind of comes there for light entertainment, and then there are the certain areas of the country where it's a part of who they are. It's a part of their fabric, and so I'm really looking forward to feeling that energy on stage, and doing my best to give it 110% back at you.
Right. And what'll be nice is you won't have to filter yourself because this is at the Fiserv, not at the state fair or the
That's
county
true.
fair, which were the last 2 years
That's true.
where we did all the nasty singing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all old hat for you guys. Nothing new.
Right. So really looking forward to new music. Do we have an idea maybe when it might come out?
Most likely you'll see something solidified by the beginning of next year. I mean, that's being generous. We're finishing up a lot of what we have coming up at the end of November, early December. So we should have everything pretty focused in before Christmas, and then, you know, we'll start trickling some stuff out there. But you'll honestly, I feel like as soon as I kind of put those types of dates out there, the fans usually have a closer idea than I even do. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard this new song," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, did we release that? I guess that got that got out there. Cool."